This is an inclusive exhibit because it includes the story of American freedom no one knows or has chosen not to know about. And secondly, the women who fought for these freedoms will change all our lives. So everybody in America has a freedom sister that's in this exhibit. I want you, especially the sisters here, all of you, to take ownership of this exhibit and to be the ambassadors to the whole 5 boroughs and beyond, and let everybody know about it and that they need to come. There's one person that I would like to introduce, and that is the leading figure for this whole Freedom Sisters tour and the exhibit. She is the Director of Community Development for Ford Motor Company Fund, and she's the driving force behind this whole enterprise. Please welcome to Pamela Alexander, Ford Motor Company.
Tonight is an evening of sisterhood. We are going to have wonderful conversation and discussion and just share with each other about our roles and our vision of how our African American women and women are portrayed in history. Today's moderator, I don't even know if moderator is the right word. They were having so much fun upstairs. I think we're all in for a real treat. I could say, of course, she's a national award-winning author. She is an activist. She celebrates people who need help in a way that gives them dignity and focuses on their well-being. She has done so many things to uplift women of all races that we thought she would be an excellent and perfect person to speak with our legends and our guests in our panel tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tanya Lewis Lee.
So, good evening, everybody. I have to say, it is really my pleasure, my privilege, my honor to be here with you tonight. I think that sometimes as children, we plod along in life with an idea of where we're going to go and where we're going to be, and sometimes we feel like we're alone in that, but then you hear whispers of people who've come before you, who've done great things, and they inspire you in ways. And the 3 women that we're going to talk to tonight have certainly been that for me. So, first up, we have Dr. Sonia Sanchez. She's a poet, a mother, a professor, a national and international lecturer on Black culture and literature, women's liberation, peace, and racial justice. She received her Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Hunter College and studied briefly writing at NYU. In the 1960s, she was introduced to political activism and published many books and journals and essays. She's written about sexism, child abuse, generational and class conflicts. Over the years, Dr. Sanchez joined other activists in promoting Black studies in schools, agitating for the rights of African countries, and sponsoring various other causes such as the Nicaraguan Sandinistas. Dr. Sanchez has taught at various universities, finally assuming a permanent post as a resident poet and member of the English faculty at Temple University. Dr. Sonia Sanchez.
To be here and be with all these amazing women, and I'm an archivist, so there's another wave of young people in my generation who are going to make sure that these stories remain told. So
thank you.
2 things. I have a haiku for you. It's the first step to peace is understanding that love is an action word. And my question is that a lot of the discussion has been about education and the parents' role as far as educating people, but my mom had me when she was 15 years old. And so my mom has been learning in the process as I've been learning. So who's going to teach the parents? Who's going to teach the parents so they can know what their kids are supposed to learn in school? Because I'm helping my mom with her homework right now because she's back in college. So
that's great.
I always think about that when I'm in this room of people, and a lot of my peers, they know all of these things about all this culture, but my mom, all she knew was how to go figure out the basics for us. So who's teaching the parents so they can know what the kids need to know?
You will be doing that too. Yeah.
You raise a really good point, because a lot of us don't know the extent of adult functional literacy as well, which then, to the point the sister made, affects the next generation, because your head spins when you're a parent. For those of you who are parents out there know what I'm talking about. Tanya knows what I'm talking about, when you have to help your kid with homework. And, you know, the whole education, the situation is as wide as it is deep, but I do believe that we can lick it. And it's really deep because it is so systemic and it's so systematic, and there's so many areas that we could go into to prove that. But one of those that I always return to.
Things happening. We moved to Jackson, Mississippi, and I served as his secretary with the NAACP, still very afraid of what could happen, still not accepting what could happen. Medgar finally said to me, "You're either with me or you aren't. It's a decision that you must make." And I said, "I'll let you know later, because I can't do it right now." And it took about a week of not speaking, but thinking and going deep into the needs of both of us, and the fact that civil rights reigned number one. And I finally had to accept that. And I stayed there and supported him through everything until his death. And then the whole momentum to keep his memory alive took place. The evolution, I'll call it that, of a woman began to take place because it had to be. What did you do? Someone told me you should go on welfare. The country owes you that. But I was not brought up that way. So it was okay, go for it, go back to school, do all of those things. But always, always, always in mind was to help other people in Medgar's memory, then finally in my own doing. And you don't ever stop fighting. You don't ever stop looking for the challenges. You step out there, you know everybody's not going to like you, but if you believe in something deeply enough, you take that risk and do what you have to do.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, Constance, my question for you. Now, you know, we know, and Dr. Sanchez mentioned the Black Arts Movement, we know that art played a great role in the civil rights movement in general. I guess my question is, how do you think that art continues to play a role, continues to play a role, and along those lines, how do young people, how do we get that?
Someone was speaking with someone, wasn't speaking with someone, tweet about Rutgers, tweet about what is truly going on in America, tweet about the statements, you know, that the right happens to be making about African Americans and Latinos, tweet about the idea that Chicanos now in the Midwest now are being taken out of textbooks, tweet about something that is tweetable, as opposed to because we are not inherently just gossipers. You know, we are not inherently watching the idiot box all the time talking about revenge. This is not about revenge, people. This is about educating our children. They, you know, we complain about what they don't do, but it really comes back to what we don't do, you know, and where we are, you know, and now at this particular time, and we've got to let them truly understand. You see, we have to teach our children about peace. You know, about real peace, you know, not about, you know, casual peace, but real peace. And one of the things that I've been doing is that I asked someone wanted to do a mural, and I said, no, why don't we do a peace mural? A peace mural. Some people said, you can't have peace, Professor Sanchez. I said, why not? I said, we have war. You know, so why can't we have peace? I said, and I give you an assignment. If you can make peace profitable, we'll have peace. Because war is going to be profitable. So what can we do? So I called Sister Toni Morrison, I called Sister Alice Walker, I called Sister Maya Angelou. I said, would you send me 3 lines about peace for a mural? And they responded like that. Why? Because they truly understand, too, that this thing called peace is important for our children to see.
I have a question about politics. You spoke about a sense of optimism and how far we've been an opportunity through what African American sisters and African Americans in the civil rights movement for us to be able to have that type of immigration. I guess my biggest question is, how do we use education and use these stories as a tool to promote cross-cultural education and understanding of African peoples as a global concept?
The most fantastic thing about Black studies was that when you began to study